At the start of the film, we are introduced to two girls, Priya and Steffi, who are neighbors and have come to the same company for an interview. Priya's family includes her daughter and her husband, who calls her to share the good news of his promotion. Priya also gives him good news that she has cleared the first interview for the job. They were happy and decided to break this news to everyone on their anniversary. Priya immediately invites everyone in her community group for her anniversary. Now we talk about Steffi. She is a single mother and lives in Priya's colony. A man named Manuel shifts near their house with his mom. Manuel and his mom shifted to Delhi years ago and they run a good business there, but Manuel says that his mother is sick and she has Alzheimer's disease. That's why he brought his mom to his old house to make her feel better. It discovered that Manuel has a sister, Diana, who lives in New Zealand and unmarried. Manuel's house was in front of Priya's and she used to keep an eye on his house because she always feels his acts suspicious. One day he tied a red cloth on a stick and digs that stick in the ground. After it, he also checked if that stick is visible from anyone's house. Manuel was doing suspicious tasks except for this, like he was spying on everyone in the colony about their departure and arrival. He also makes Steffi his friend. She also attracted to Manuel because she was single. Manuel used Steffi for his benefit and discovered about each member of the colony from her. One day, Priya tries to talk to Manuel's mom from her house like neighbors do, but his mom goes inside strangely. Priya even notices that Manuel used to shut all his house doors, windows, and curtains so that no one could see his house from outside. He even checked this again and again, that if his house is visible to anyone. One day, a huge lizard comes to his house. Manuel captures it, cooks it, and invites all the neighbors in the evening. Doing this, he wants to make his place in their hearts, but everyone noticed that he is not eating the meat he is serving. When he was asked, he told that he is fasting. Priya, who was noticing all this, starts thinking that's why he invited everyone on his fasting day. The next day, Manuel meets his uncle. His uncle tells him that red cloth stick isn't visible from the society and now we don't need to take tension. What they wanted to do was a mystery. They were saying that now we have to wait for the right time and have to complete our mission. The next day, Manuel meets Steffi and finds out from her that there is a party at Priya's house on 19. All the people in the colony will be at Priya's house and this is the right time to fulfill their task. He also informs his friends and uncle about this. After getting the news, Manuel's friend buys some chemicals, a water tank, and a lot of polythene sheets. Today it was the day when it was Priya's anniversary. Everyone was gathered here, but Priya noticed that Manuel and his mom weren't there. Meanwhile, Manuel was secretly plotting something with his uncle. After that, he turned on an iron and placed it on his mom's saree. After a while, the saree caught fire, and everyone saw the flames from Priya's house. They left the party and starts to extinguish the fire. Manuel also shouts that his mom is inside. He already knew this. After extinguishing the fire, they see that Manuel's mom wasn't at home. Manuel also calls the police because of his mom's disappearance. After investigating, they found out that the fire was caused by the iron. Manuel says maybe my mom ran away being scared of fire and she also had a disease to forget. Hearing this, the police start looking for his mom in the city. They find her at the railway station. Returning home, everyone cared for Manuel's mom. Even Priya's husband says, "Why don't you hire a nurse for her? I had a nurse's number in my old phone. I can give it to you if you want." Manuel nodded yes and returned home, while Priya couldn't understand this whole matter because when there was a fire at his house, Manuel came from home, and how did he come without checking everything? He said that his mom is Alzheimer's patient, but she always moved inside while leaving her shoes out. Priya used to see her daily at night while taking medicines and turning the lights off. Even she saw her turning the motor switch off, and these were all the things Alzheimer's patient don't remember. These were all suspicious things because when Manuel meets his friend John the next day, we find out that John is a neurosurgeon. He gives him sleeping pills and tells him that if we mix 2 pills in water and give to a human, he or she can sleep within 20 minutes. He comes home and calls Steffi. Then he tells her that he has to go to Delhi for work if she could stay with his mom for tonight. Steffi agrees. He tells her that I have made mango juice for his mom. Drink it, and also gives it to mom. It is shown that Manuel has mixed sleeping pills in that mango juice. After a while of leaving house, Manuel calls Steffi and asks, does mom drink the mango juice? Steffi tells him that she is not drinking the mango juice. Manuel asks her to drink the juice in front of her, then she will drink it. Steffi drinks the juice on Manuel's sink, and meanwhile, Priya comes to Manuel's home. She came to check his house on the pretext of giving iron because she felt Manuel's acts suspicious. During all this, we see Manuel's uncle coming to his home from a secret way. When he sees Priya moving inside his house, he calls Manuel. He panics because he knows that Steffi will become unconscious in a while. They have to do their task within that time. He forbids his uncle to go inside the house until Priya is inside. Manuel calls Priya's husband to make Priya leave the house and asks for the nurse's number about whom he talked last days. Now, because he told us earlier that number is in his old phone, so he calls Priya to give that number to Manuel. Manuel played this trick to make Priya leave his house. When Priya sends number after reaching home, we see Steffi sleeping, and a strange thing happens that Manuel's mom runs from the house again, but this time, she didn't run, but Manuel's uncle was taking her somewhere on the backseat. Steffi comes to her senses and becomes worried. She calls Manuel and he again reports police about his mom's disappearance. It spread in the whole colony that Manuel's mom is again missing. Hearing this, Priya's neighbor comes and says, yesterday if you would stay there for a while, maybe Manuel's mom wouldn't be missing today. Hearing this, something clicks in Priya's mind and she thinks if Manuel wouldn't ask about the number, I wouldn't have returned home means Manuel wanted me to leave his house soon. There was something fishy. She first confirms that Manuel needed that nurse or not. She calls the nurse and asks, did anyone named Manuel call her recently? The nurse says no. Now Priya's suspicion turns into fact. Priya was thinking about all this. If Manuel was near his house, he would make her leave, but he was at a distance. That's why he played this trick. Someone else has informed him about my arrival means someone else is also included in this except for Manuel. The scene cuts and we are shown a girl named Diana at Manuel's house. She was Manuel's sister who just arrived from New Zealand because she got news of her mother's worst condition. As Diana comes out, Priya takes her number. The next day, Priya surprisingly noticed that Diana was returning even though her mom was still missing and she didn't meet her mom. Priya wakes up at the middle of the night and she went to her window and she sees in the front house that Manuel's mom was standing in his house and looking at her strangely, but then Priya gets scared and breaks this eye contact. Meanwhile, her husband comes before he could see Manuel's mom. She disappeared from there. Priya was sure that she saw Manuel's mom. That's why in the morning she made her husband ask Manuel if he found his mom. He confirms that his mom is still missing. All this was putting Priya in suspicion. That's why she decides to spy on Manuel. At night, when Manuel leaves in his car, she comes down after giving food to her daughter and husband. She took her friends on a conference call and asked them to tell her about Manuel's arrival. Then she peeps inside Manuel's house while getting on the grill through the wall. Here, she sees that Manuel's friend is wearing a chemical protective suit. He placed polythene sheets in the washroom and there were a few chemicals. Manuel's friend John gets scared to see Priya, but the twist here reveals that there are shadow mirrors in Manuel's house due to which Priya couldn't see all this we saw. John also informed Manuel that Priya is spying on his house, and he immediately moved towards his house. Meanwhile, Priya's friends informed her about Manuel's arrival, but before Priya could reach her house, Manuel runs to her and stops her. He asks her, "What are you doing here?" Priya says, "I just came to see your mom because I saw your mom at your house yesterday night and that can't be my delusion." Manuel says, "Everyone knows that my mom is missing. How is it possible that you don't know? Go home. It's not right to spy on someone's house." After that, Manuel goes to his home and sees a pipe leaking. There is blood in it. He takes its picture and moves inside the house immediately, then shows this to John in anger. He says, "See? This was your idea, but it's leaving proof behind. Now, do whatever you need to and end this soon." Now we are finally shown the scene of the bathroom in which they were doing something wrong. There was a lot of blood in the water tank which John was flushing out. The next day, Priya was talking to her friends about Manuel. She says, "Did you notice that yesterday Manuel ran towards me instead of running inside his house? Did someone give him news about my arrival?" It was clear that there was someone else in the house except for Manuel who informed Manuel about my arrival. Now Priya goes to Steffi to know how Manuel's mom escaped from house. Steffi tells Priya that "I don't sleep in noon, but don't know how I slept that noon, and during all this, Manuel's mom escaped from there. After that day, Manuel didn't talk to me because he felt that I'm behind his mom's disappearance." Being fed up, Priya calls Diana and says, "I am feeling something wrong the night you left the house. I saw your mom inside the house and that wasn't my delusion." Hearing all this, Diana also denies her and says mom is still missing. Maybe it was your misunderstanding. After it, we see Manuel running to his house with huge sacks as if he wants to hide something, but one of Priya's friends noticed this. Manuel gets another bad message the next morning that Diana is coming here. He panics and asks his friend John to pack up everything soon. They hurriedly pack up everything. They flash out the whole chemical and pack everything from there, after which Manuel leaves from there, and after his departure, Priya's friends come to Manuel's house. They want to investigate what Manuel brought hidden in the sacks. They noticed that the walls they were painted new, and when they removed it, they saw blood. She takes the picture of it and sends it to Priya. Meanwhile, Manuel's friend comes out, and before he could know that these girls are spying, they acted beautifully and ask him about Manuel's mom. Meanwhile, Priya's husband calls her and tells her that Manuel's mom is found in an old-age home. He wanted Priya to believe that what she saw that day was just a delusion and that his mom was truly missing. Priya couldn't understand anything. The villagers came to meet Manuel's mom when she arrived home, and Manuel told everyone that he would move in with his friend because he couldn't take care of his mom alone. Steffi also calls to meet Manuel the same day, and when she was talking to Manuel, Priya gets a chance and goes to Manuel's mom. She says to his mom, "I saw you in this house when Diana left, and I know you aren't Alzheimer's patient. Tell me if Manuel tortures you or gives you the wrong medicine." But before she can tell her anything, Manuel comes here. After it, they are shown leaving their house the next day, but Manuel and his family were still in Priya's mind. Now it is shown that today is Priya's second interview where she come with Steffi, but her attention was still towards Diana, not in the interview. She was texting Manuel's sister again and again, but when Diana didn't reply, Priya calls her. It is shown that Manuel has Diana's phone on which he was rejects her call again and again. Priya noticed that the service girl was talking in Malayalam, but if Diana is in New Zealand, her language would be changed. It was clear that Diana is still in India, and she tells this to Steffi. On the other side, we see Manuel burning the leftover things we saw in his washroom. Steffi wasn't understanding Priya, but Priya has a sharp mind. She immediately searches for Diana on Instagram and finds a girl in a lot of pictures with Diana. She then searches her profile and messages her. Before she can contact that girl Aditi, we see Aditi has come to India. She called Manuel and said, "Diana isn't receiving my call for a few days. That's why I have come here after her, so pick me." Manuel says, "Okay, I will pick you," but then after a while, he makes an excuse and says, "I can't pick you." Then Manuel again calls Aditi and picks her from an unknown place. Manuel called her there. Now they were going to Manuel's bakery where he told her that Diana is. During this, Manuel gets a call from his uncle and he goes out of the car to receive it. Now Priya texts Diana's friend and asks if Diana has come to New Zealand. The girl says no. "I also have come to India to meet her." Priya introduced herself as Manuel's neighbor and told her that she saw Diana left for the airport. The girl says yes, she left for the airport, but then she received the news that her mom is found and she is insisting on meeting her. That's why she didn't take the flight and returned home. These things were confusing her. It was true that when Diana left, Priya saw her mom at Manuel's house. Before she can solve all this, she gets a call from a lab and finds out that the samples she sent to the lab had human blood. She panics to hear this. She took those samples outside from Manuel's house where Manuel painted the wall under the pipe, and Priya collected the samples secretly. As she finds out that there was blood, it is clear that there has been a murder at their house and Diana was missing, and all this so it was clear that she was murdered. Priya understands that if Aditi comes behind Diana, they will kill her too, so she texts her about this. On the other side, we see Manuel talking to his uncle that the girl has come behind Diana. Now what we have to do with her? Aditi is shocked to read this message, but before she can run out of the car, Manuel comes in the car and makes her unconscious. Priya leaves her interview to save that girl. She calls her husband on the way and tells him this whole story. His husband doesn't believe her. When Priya reaches Manuel's bakery, there was none. After waiting for a long time, Priya comes across a pamphlet announcing that Manuel is planning to open a new bakery. Now she moves towards the new address. Everything was deserted here. She feels too scared to go inside, so she wisely calls the police first. She shares her location with the police and explains everything on her mind. She also informs the police that Aditi is in danger. However, before they arrive, Priya enters the bakery. She was afraid that they would kill Aditi. There was a locked room in the bakery, and when she sees while getting up on a stool, they lay down the Aditi and were about to kill her. Priya's life would also be in danger, so she runs out. Going out, she starts breaking the mirror here. They get scared by the noise and Manuel asks his friend to hide her. He comes outside and sees Priya. Upon seeing her, he loses control and becomes enraged, as she keeps ruining their plans. Before he can harm Priya, Priya hides in her car and Manuel hits her car with a stick. Priya starts the car and gets him on the car. She drives the car straight at high speed. The car crashes into the bakery wall, causing bricks to fall on Manuel and his friend, trapping them underneath. They get faint. Priya doesn't lose courage and gets out of the car to find Aditi. She finds her, and here the scene cuts. Now we are shown the scene the next day when there was police outside Manuel's house. The police arrest Manuel's family, including John, and then a shocking twist is revealed. It turns out that Diana was murdered here, and the mastermind behind the incident was none other than Manuel's mother. She is shown a side character in the whole movie and told an Alzheimer's patient. Actually, Diane wanted to marry a girl and to maintain their family reputation. Her mom planned to murder her daughter. They came here to carry out their plan, with Manuel's mom pretending to be an Alzheimer's patient. Manuel then lured Diane into their home. Using his mother's supposed disappearance as an excuse, he murdered her. The cloth Manuel tied with a stick and placed it in the society that was the secret passage Manuel's mom used to escape with his uncle while pretending to be missing. It is also revealed that the sleeping powder was mixed by Diana's mom, not Manuel, to make Steffi fall asleep. The night Diana was killed was the same night Priya saw Diana's mom at her window. This means Priya was right all along. With her intelligence and bravery, she not only caught the killers but also saved the life. That life was Aditi's, and the movie concludes with this revelation. John, and then a shocking twist is revealed. It turns out that Diana was murdered here, and the mastermind behind the incident was none other than Manuel's mother. She is shown a side character in the whole movie and told an Alzheimer's patient. Actually, Diane wanted to marry a girl and to maintain their family reputation. Her mom planned to murder her daughter. They came here to carry out their plan, with Manuel's mom pretending to be an Alzheimer's patient. Manuel then lured Diane into their home. Using his mother's supposed disappearance as an excuse, he murdered her. The cloth Manuel tied with a stick and placed it in the society that was the secret passage Manuel's mom used to escape with his uncle while pretending to be missing. It is also revealed that the sleeping powder was mixed by Diana's mom, not Manuel, to make Steffi fall asleep. The night Diana was killed was the same night Priya saw Diana's mom at her window. This means Priya was right all along. With her intelligence and bravery, she not only caught the killers but also saved the life. That life was Aditi's, and the movie concludes with